Today we're talking land expropriation without compensation in South Africa. This is part 2 and we're going to be delving into the politics of land expropriation. So be sure to stay tuned, we're answering all your questions today. Welcome to Africa is Us, and I am so excited to talk to you about the land debate today. Now, before we start, let's just get a few technicalities out of the way. I've been asked to give a little bit more information as to why you subscribe, like, and share to this channel. You need to subscribe to this channel because you will then receive weekly emails that indicate to you a new episode has been released. So you don't have to manually search for it and you don't have to wonder if a new episode is out. You will automatically get a mail with the video in the link. So subscribe. Like the videos so I know if I'm doing it right or wrong, or if I need to shake things up a little bit, or if I need to pay more attention to a certain topic. Share, because if you think these videos are of use to you and others in Africa or South Africa, then we need to expand our community. So share with colleagues, friends, and anybody else that you think may be interested in this video. Last week we spoke about land expropriation and we delved into everything you need to know about it, all the basic information. So today we're taking it one step further and we're looking at the politics surrounding the land debate, okay? If you feel like you've missed out, check the link at the bottom of your screen right now. Be sure to watch part 1 first and then refer back to this video. So today we're talking politics and we're looking at the 3 major political parties in South Africa, being the Democratic Alliance, or the DA, Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, or the African National Congress, which is the ANC. And I want to just talk about their land policies and just bring it together as to how politics fit into the constitutional debate. Many people say that politics seem to be intertwined with human rights and constitutions, and this, I think, is partly true. It's only natural to see that there will be politics in regard to a debate such as this one, which is really contentious and many people have passionate feelings about it. So we need to understand what the political drive behind certain things are and the political motivation behind certain debates and certain information that is put out into the public sphere. So let's look at the DA first, or the Democratic Alliance. What are their main issues about land expropriation, and what is the key things that they are saying about land expropriation? So their stance is the following. First of all, they support land reform, and they state that they have been actively implementing land reform for the past couple of years in Western Cape districts. They also say there is no issue with the Constitution and there is no need for the Constitution to be amended or changed. It is merely an issue with government and government effectively dealing with land redistribution. Then they also say that the governing party, which is the ANC, does not have a clear plan as to how it wants to implement land expropriation, and they haven't been forthcoming with this plan. The last one I want to set out is that they also take the view that land expropriation without compensation will take ownership away from all, black and white. Now, if you want to see more on their views and their stance to expropriation, check out the link at the bottom of this document you're seeing on your screen right now. You will see that they set out almost, I think, 7 steps as to how land expropriation or land redistribution can be accomplished without changing the Constitution. And they mostly talk about effective administrative processes in terms of securing title deeds, giving people land, and basically the institutions dealing with this being more effective, and a few others. Let's look at the ANC's land reform policies. So they are obviously the governing party for South Africa, and they are the ones that are in a way leading the land debate. And as you know, President Ramaphosa told us all on the 31st of July that the ANC, the ruling party, the governing party, will be pushing for the amendment of Section 25 of the Constitution. So, what are their views? What is their stance on this land debate? Let's check it out. First of all, they say they've made this official announcement that they will pursue expropriation without compensation. They are very clear that they are against nationalization and that this will not be pushed for or implemented. They also say they propose a trial period on land expropriation without compensation on 139 or 139 farms. Although it's not clear where these farms are, whose farms these are, and which farms will be part of this trial period. Then they also say that state-owned land, underutilized and vandalized land will be the first ones on the agenda for expropriation without compensation. They've also said that land expropriation will not be a smash and grab type of situation, nor will it be land grabs, and it must be done in such a way as to ensure economic stability and also food security. If you want to see more on their views on this, then check out the link at the bottom of this document on your screen right now. Okay, so what does the EFF or the Economic Freedom Fighters say? Well, let's check it out. Their stance on land expropriation is that they support land expropriation without compensation. They are pushing for nationalization. And in terms of this nationalization, they're saying that state licenses should be issued to owners of land, and they can then pay for this license for a maximum of 25 years. But they need to be able to motivate what they are going to use the land for and how it's going to be utilized. At the end of the 25-year period, this whole process starts again, where you need to say why you would like to have it extended, etc., etc. But the main goal is that there isn't a situation where ownership of a piece of land can be in the hands of one individual or family for, as they put it, forever. Then the last one they say is that state food procurement should then start to prioritize small-scale farmers, who will then obviously be some of the recipients of these lands that will be redistributed. If you want to know more on the EFF stance on this, then check out the link at the bottom of the document you see right now. Okay, so those are the three main parties and their stance on land expropriation without compensation. So as you can see, they all have kind of differing views, but one kind of technical thing I would just put out there for the viewers as well as the political parties is, for such a contentious debate and for something that has received so much public scrutiny, that's talked about so much in South Africa, I really would have thought that it would have been easier for me to access their stance and their debate and their views on land expropriation. And for all three of these parties, I really did kind of struggle on their websites to get to a document that really laid it out for me. In actual fact, for the ANC, I had to rely on many different sources that not one actually came from their website. The only one I actually found quite easily on their stance on land was the EFF's website, which really links to it quite quickly. And then also in terms of the Democratic Alliance, it is on their website, but it was so difficult for me to actually find it on their website. I had to do another Google search, which then redirected me to this document or PDF document. Just something to note and something I thought was kind of curious. Okay, so what are we saying here? Let's look at why it's important to understand what the politics are surrounding land expropriation and why it's important to understand the different views from the political parties. This is, whether you agree with it or don't agree with it, a really big deal. And it's going to change a lot in South Africa if it were to be passed. So we have to deal with the question, Do we think it's going to happen or not? If it's going to happen, why? And also, what is the motivation behind this? Now, I'm going to share with you my theories, and then I invite you, as always, to comment. But I would like to just kind of put this out there and see if you agree with me and if you follow my line of thinking. Okay, so first things first, let's deal with the governing party, which is the ANC. Now, I have to say that I am a little worried because if we are looking at land expropriation, the big hoo-ha about this and the big announcement came after their conference in the early part of 2018. Now, as you will remember, during the municipal elections, the ANC lost a lot of ground, and big metros we saw shifted to other political parties like the DA. So it's only natural to think, assume, and know that the ANC is going to want to make up those votes lost, and they are really going to be campaigning for the voters. Now, if we note next year, 2019, actually just a couple of months from now, we will be having our next national elections. So obviously they are really under pressure to make great strides with their voters, especially those voters who they may have lost to other political parties. Therefore, it seems like a really good political move to push for this land expropriation without compensation issue. Now, this is also where you will see that they have really put a lot of emphasis on driving this. They also put emphasis on doing the public hearings. It's now going to Parliament. So it really has come a long way in just a couple of months versus how far this debate has come over the past couple of years. So it is a little bit tempting for an outsider looking in to see this as kind of a political move on the ANC's part because they are doing a lot to push for it. However, it also gives you this idea that not a lot is going to happen with it after the 2019 elections and after they have then perhaps gained the voters that they've lost and gained more traction than they did in the last elections. The reason I say this is because when it comes to the hard questions like how is it going to be implemented, what exactly is the plan, there really is very little clarity coming from the governing party. Okay, so what does the Democratic Alliance say and how do we think about their politics? Now, we've already seen what their view is in this video. My issue with the Democratic Alliance is, and my views in terms of this, is that they've gained a lot of traction during the last municipal elections. So they are again under pressure to keep this going. So they also are motivated by doing something great and audacious to keep the voters coming. Now, the issue with the DA is, as we have seen, a lot of party infighting, a lot of confusion in the party politics, and also many things that come to the attention of the media and the public. As we've seen lately, the whole issue in terms of the motion of no confidence in the mayor of Cape Town, Patricia de Lille, the fighting that ensued due to that. Prior to that and previously, we had the whole issue of Helen Zille and her tweets about colonialization, the party leadership changing, and now we've also had this issue in Nelson Mandela Bay with Athol Trollip being voted out. So it really does create a sense of chaos for the voter because it seems like all of their energies and all of their politics and all of their debate is really going into just kind of getting their house in order at the moment and trying to figure out how to move forward, and then also being at the top of this kind of political debate. The last one is, of course, the Economic Freedom Fighters, or the EFF. Now, what challenges do we see here politics-wise in terms of land expropriation? Well, as you will remember, the leader, Julius Malema, famously said in 2016 that the EFF will never form a coalition with any other party, especially the DA or the ANC. Just to be turned around and saying this year during TV interviews, newspaper and radio interviews that they will be open to forming a coalition with the ANC under the right circumstances. Now, they've gained traction in the last elections, and they, I think, are set up to gain some more traction in the coming elections. But I think their voters will be a little bit disappointed if they were to give too much support towards the ANC, because I think a lot of their voters ended up voting for them because they want to be assured that the EFF will not go back to the ANC. They will not take on the views of the ANC again. They are their own political party fighting for the views of their voters. So I think it would really be political suicide for them to make the decision to vote with the ANC on land expropriation for two reasons. First, they are really heavily pushing for nationalization, and the ANC is totally against this. The second reason being that they said they wouldn't form a coalition with the ANC, and for them to now vote with the ANC in parliament to get enough of the votes through to be a 2/3 majority to change the constitution would really kind of look like they jumped on the bandwagon last, and as if it was the ANC's idea to push for land expropriation and to push the whole land reform idea. They are the ones that put it in front of Parliament. They are the ones that made things happen, and now they're just kind of waiting for the EFF to give this additional vote. So it may seem like the glamour of this moment is a little bit shifted toward the ANC instead of it belonging to the EFF. So you see, there's a lot of politics around this constitutional debate, and a lot of these politics influence, I think, whether it's actually going to happen or not happen, and if it happens, how effectively it will really be put in place and used or not. Do you have the same views as me? Do you share the comments that I made in this video? I would love to know if you don't, and convince me. Why don't you agree? So remember to subscribe, like, and share. I can't wait to see you in part 3 of this series, where we talk about should there be land expropriation or should there not be land expropriation. Thank you for watching. Ciao.